This podcast is brought to you by Mapper Forward's new Patreon community, the Global Coffee Think Tank. Check the show notes or head to patreon.com/mapperforward to find out how you can become a member today. Welcome back to our final episode of our 5-part series with Diego Baraona. Diego, today we are talking about the future of the coffee supply chain out of El Salvador. What does the future hold for the supply chain out of El Salvador, given that we have to deal with climate change? We have to deal with things like coffee leaf rust and borer beetle and whatever comes after that. We've got to deal with tectonic shifting financial occurrences coming our way. We've got inflation and we've got currency issues and we've got logistical issues. So what does the next decade look like for the supply chain out of El Salvador as you guys adapt to what you're going to need to do to survive?
Yeah, like I was saying to you earlier today, tough question to answer because so uncertain. It's hard to see past 1 year, 2 years, because you've seen the world every year has been completely different.
Yeah.
So it's been really hard to see the future. But like we've been talking about financial security, financial stability, being smart about your financials, that's going to be what we have to do. Be smart about contracts, be smart what you are planting in the farm, betting on the right varieties. Like I just talked with our farm manager. Like, I don't want to plant any more geisha. I'm done with the geishas. You know?
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I remember geisha, I mean, they're amazing coffee, right? Taste, amazing quality, but like takes a lot of fertilizers. They're more delicate. They require more and more and more and more. They're really, really delicate to sun, to rust. And I'm like, I don't have right now like the capacity to keep planting and betting on that variety. Production is really low. So I'm trying to, I'm suggesting that we have to bet on the right coffee varieties, maybe hybrids, maybe other coffees, that can withstand all these issues and climate change.
It goes back to what we were saying in a previous episode about responsibility, right?
Yeah.
Those who are dialing back their risk appetite and being more responsible are probably going to have a better chance at surviving the challenges of the next decade.
Yeah.
And we could be totally wrong. Like, it could be the people who risk everything and have a huge win. They're the ones who are going to find the most innovation and but it's a gamble either way at this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to ask you about water. We haven't spoken about water yet.
Ooh, that's a good question. Yeah.
Talk to me about water over the next decade, because that's going to be a game changer for a lot of people, right? It's going to be a determining factor.
Yeah, because rains. For me, because starting for me at the farms Pirineos, we don't have access to water. Water, I have to pump it from really, really down there, from below, from towns, and it's really expensive. Or my father for years used to bring like a big truck, big pipe, but that's really expensive and really bad for the environment. So we built a water reservoir. But every year it's been getting a little bit harder to fill the reservoir. So there's going to be a scarcity of water also. Rainwater is going to be scarce because it doesn't rain that much anymore, or it fluctuates a lot. It's not predictable because it's all shifted. So water is going to play a big part in the future. Like how are we going to handle scarcity of water?
So with the scarcity of water, does that mean that you have to find more drought-resistant strains of coffee trees, or do you have to just change the business model so that you can survive with lower yields?
We can start from processing. We making washed coffees, for example. We wouldn't be able to do that much washed coffees anymore because they require a lot of water.
Right.
So market would change a lot.
Wow, what are you going to say to the anti-natural bros when I mean, and that's an interesting one, right? Like you've got people on the consuming end of the supply chain that have all of these opinions about what tastes good and what doesn't taste good and why you should sell this and why you should sell that without any real connection to its impact on producers and what goes into actually creating those coffees.
Really hard because it's what I've noticed. It's all about trends, and we as farmers, it's hard to keep up to trends. Like we don't have
so stupid
trends, and like for years, naturals. Okay, there's naturals, fermentations, anaerobic, CMs, whatever. Okay, but now we want only washed coffees. I'm like, I don't really have the capacity, like that much water to do. So it's hard to keep up with all these trends. And that's why I was saying, like, we as producers, we don't really have the power to control the trends.
Which is why I'm so excited about this next generation of producers, because I feel like if anyone is going to redistribute the balance of power more evenly across the supply chain, it's going to be your generation.
Yeah.
Because your generation, from what I've witnessed, are more, first of all, they speak English so that they can communicate more directly with the consuming end of the supply chain.
Yeah.
And they aren't scared of technology. So they're happy to get out there on social media and say the things that need to be said. And they're also more willing to come on podcasts, not just because they want to get famous, but because they want to have real discussions.
I want to brag to my friends.
Exactly. Sure. But you only get bragging rights on this podcast when you got to be somebody who's willing to put themselves out there and have like the courage to talk about some of the things that you've been talking about.
Yeah. And it's part of that. Like sometimes you might be wrong. I might be wrong. I don't care. I'm just saying what I've been thinking.
And we're talking. We're shooting the shit about ideas and things so that we can learn from each other and figure out like what's actually broken out there, what's working out there.
Yeah.
And somebody's going to listen to this and they're going to be serving Los Pirineos coffee and they're going to be able to connect it with you and they're going to understand, like they're going to look at the bag and they're going to say, this is a washed coffee. But actually, I heard Diego on the Map of Forward podcast and these guys have a problem with water.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to think about that.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to think about, well, wow, like how much water does it actually take to get all these coffees that are served in our cafe?
I have the number actually.
Oh, please.
Our reservoir holds 1 million gallons of water and we use it all every year. We completely
all of it?
Yeah, all of it. Yeah. We use it for the wash coffees, for the whole farm, for the wet meal, for the fertilizer, for the whole operation, for a whole year. 1 million gallons.
That would be about 3 million liters, right?
I think so, yeah.
2.82. Yeah. So it's about 3 million liters of water. That's a lot of water.
It's a lot of water, yeah.
And you have to either buy that water or you have to get it from rain.
Yeah, we get it from part of my sustainability mentality, pure rain. But like there's other people who don't have reservoirs, so have to buy it out. So imagine all the farms buying that amount of water. That doesn't seem very eco-friendly.
This is the part that confuses me about it, and I hope you can help me understand this a bit better. If you're not getting paid until you deliver the coffee, but you've got all this expense that happens up front, how does the way that cycles, or the expectation that you should just be paying for everything up front?
Yeah, that's actually probably the first issue I picked up when I took over the farm and the business. Like, where do I get this money up front? It's a lot of money. I need a lot of money up front every year to start the harvest. It's a lot of money.
It's the part that confuses me the most about why people feel entitled to turn around and say, I'm not paying until it arrives in my warehouse. Mm-hmm. Like there's a sense of entitlement that comes with that. Yeah. And perhaps I'm just being naive, but Is this something that needs to get fixed? Is this something that is getting like it we don't have a choice. Has to change.
It's something that I feel like it has to change nowadays, and I feel like it's something in dialogue that we have to start. And I've been having issues. It's funny. I've been feeling kind of weird about it to ask my clients, hey, can we please renegotiate payment terms? Can we at least 50% up front, 50%? Like I feel like there's ways we can go about it. But I don't know why I've been feeling like queer about it, which it shouldn't be weird because we are going through a hard time, and
Yeah, and there's this transition point that we're going to go through where people don't know what the future holds, and from where they're sitting is I don't have access to the lines of credit that I'm required to have. If I want to have a responsible business, I should be securing my crop, my coffee, and I should be putting my money where my mouth is. Mm-hmm. But I need an out. Like what happens if the business goes under? I don't want to be responsible for all of this coffee. What do I do? What I'm saying is, I think the discomfort you're feeling with asking these questions is felt in a different way on the other side. Yeah. They have to admit their inability to meet your requirements, which takes them deep into the realities of their own business. And the vulnerability their business has to collapse if they do responsible business. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of business owners out there are hiding under the veil of what it looks like their success is. Their cafes are full, and so therefore they must have a lot of money. Mm-hmm. I am a coffee business consultant. I have a lot of clients, and I can tell you now, the reality of it is very different when I start going through their profit and loss statements with them. Mm-hmm. When they start to realize that they didn't know that they haven't been making money for a couple of years, it's a problem. Yeah. And I suspect that there are many more businesses out there that's a reality for and this is why when somebody like you who was saying, look, I have to be responsible in the way that I'm doing business. So to be fair is the only way I can be responsible. I'm not going to ask you for everything up front, but I do need 50% up front to keep this fair, which is a reasonable ask.
Find like a middle ground,
Right. And what I think is happening is the moment you ask that question, what you're saying to somebody, Warren Buffett has this really great quote of, it's not when the tide goes out, that's when you find out who's swimming naked. And your question does that. Yeah. Your question reveals to people who's swimming naked.
And I'm sure I'm not the only one thinking about this. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have thought about this.
Which is why I wanted you to come on the podcast and have an open conversation about it, because you are daring that way. And this is the only way that we bring our dirty laundry out into the public as a community. Like, this is a dysfunctional industry. Mm-hmm. And it's dysfunctional because the barrier to entry is so low and we have a saturated market. Yeah. And so everybody thinks, well, it can't be that hard. Everybody's doing it. I'm going to open a cafe as well. I'm going to open a roastery as well. I'm just going to go be a coffee producer. Mm-hmm. Because my father and all the generations before that were coffee producers. And look, like now I'm expected to be a coffee producer. And then we get people like you that turn around and say, I didn't think that I would be in this scenario, but I am. Yeah. And you know what? I'm going to change it. Because if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it well. And if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it in a profitable, responsible way. Mm-hmm. Now you're going to piss a whole bunch of people off doing that, because now you show them that that's not okay to be dysfunctional anymore.
Yeah. And I think I piss a lot of people.
Yeah. The technical... You're a disruptor, and the technical term of what you're doing is called cognitive dissonance. Yeah. And so you do... And you are in good company, because I am one of those people too who constantly stir cognitive dissonance in around people who have been like under the surface, low key, aware that things need to change, but they don't want it to change because change is going to be uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
We have too many practices in our industry that fester not only dysfunction, but bad practices, irresponsible business practices.
Yeah.
And we don't have the luxury of affording that given the future that's coming. Not in my opinion.
Mm-mm.
So as we wrap up this series, first of all, thank you. I love my conversations with you. So thanks for coming on and being so honest and being so open. Where can people find out more about Los Pirineos and connect with you?
Yeah. We are on Instagram at Los Pirineos Coffee, or my Instagram at Diego.Baraona. Those two.
Go and check out his marathons and make yourself feel like shit that you do nowhere close to the amount of physical exercise that Diego does.
I gotta be sharp and healthy for the global issues. I gotta be
This has been a real pleasure. Thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you, Lee.
I look forward to the next time. We'll do it again soon.
Yes, for sure.
Peace, love, and peanut butter, everybody. Have an amazing rest of your day. Thanks, friends. If you enjoyed this video, here's what you should check out next. Consider supporting Map It Forward on Patreon and be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell before you leave.